The evening sun cast a honeyed glow across the small countryside kitchen, where the scent of garlic, butter, and the faint salt of the sea mingled in the air. Steam rose in soft ribbons as Diep leaned over the stove, flipping the lobster that sizzled in a pool of golden butter. Each motion carried a kind of reverence. This was not just another meal. Tonight marked the beginning of something new. After months of uncertainty, paperwork, and sleepless nights, DJ Enterprises, a company born from both of their dreams, was finally official. The name, an elegant merging of Diep and James, now existed not just on documents but in their hearts. And so, to celebrate, Diep decided to go big: Alaska lobster and king crab, a feast that symbolized the magnitude of what they had built together. Outside, the countryside quieted into dusk. The horizon glowed with the last traces of daylight. Diep glanced at the clock, her pulse quickened. James had promised to come home early. Right on cue, the sound of the front door opening echoed through the house. A faint chill of night air swept in before the door clicked shut. James appeared in the doorway, still in his suit, the day's weariness melting from his face as soon as he saw her. "Smells amazing," he said, loosening his tie as he slipped off his shoes and made his way into the kitchen. Diep turned, teasing, "You look too handsome for dinner at home. Were you on a red carpet or at the office?" He chuckled, stepping closer. "Tonight deserves it. We're not just having dinner, we're celebrating the birth of something big." "Our company," Diep said softly, her lips curling into a proud smile. "Exactly. DJ Enterprises is official." "The registration went through this morning." Her hand stilled over the pot, pride swelling quietly inside her chest. "You did it," she whispered. "We did it," he corrected, eyes bright. The aroma of buttered shellfish filled the space as James rolled up his sleeves. "Let me help," he said, grabbing a knife. "I've been signing documents all day. Cutting crab legs will be a nice change." Diep laughed. "If success tastes like this, I hope we can afford it." Together, they prepared the meal, moving in a familiar, wordless rhythm. The clatter of utensils mixed with soft laughter and the occasional spark of oil hitting the pan. It was an ordinary kitchen, yet tonight it felt sacred, alive with the quiet hum of accomplishment and shared purpose. When the table was finally set, it gleamed under the golden light. 2 plates, a bottle of wine, and in the center, bright red lobsters glazed with butter, king crab legs steaming, and a small bowl of garlic noodles. James poured the wine. "To new beginnings," he said. Diep lifted her glass, smiling. "And to us. May we never forget where we started." they clinked glasses softly. The first sip of chilled white wine cut through the richness of the meal, the cool taste grounding them in the present. Silence followed, but it was the kind of silence shared between two people who had weathered storms together and learned to find peace in the pauses. As the night deepened, their conversation turned to the future. "So," James said, leaning back, "we need to think about an office." "I found a few rental listings near the Riverside district, lots of light, good view, close to clients." "That sounds perfect," Diep replied. "I'll handle the design. Minimalist, white walls, soft lighting, a few plants." He smiled. "You've always had the eye for that." Diep brushed a stray strand of hair behind her ear. "It's funny," she murmured. "A few months ago we were worried about rent. And now we're eating king crab." James laughed, raising a claw in mock salute. "Fake it till you make it, right?" "Right," she said, laughing, her voice soft but steady. The warmth of the food seeped into their bones. The struggles, the layoffs, the sleepless nights, the uncertainty, all seemed to fade, replaced by something deeper, faith in what they were building together. After a pause, Diep looked at him seriously. "Do you ever feel scared?" He set down his fork, thinking. "Every day," he admitted. "But when I look at you, I remember why I started." Her breath caught. "James," he reached for her hand across the table. "You believed in me when no one else did." "That's all the courage I need." Her eyes softened. "We'll make it, won't we?" He nodded. "We will. DJ Enterprises isn't just a company, it's a promise." Outside, rain began to fall, tapping lightly on the roof. Candlelight flickered between them, reflecting in their eyes like twin constellations. Diep stood to refill their glasses, humming under her breath. When she turned, James was watching her, really watching her. The woman who had once been afraid to dream now stood strong, radiant in the golden glow of her kitchen. "You know," he said suddenly, "we should plan a launch party." Diep nearly spilled the wine. "A party? Already? Why not? Something small, friends, family, maybe a few partners." She shook her head, laughing. "You're serious? Completely? And I'll cook next time." She burst out laughing. "You'll burn the house down before you cook anything. Then I'll order takeout and call it creative catering." Their laughter filled the room again. Later, when the dishes were washed and the wine bottle stood empty, they settled on the couch. The TV flickered quietly in the background. Diep rested her head on his shoulder. Thank you, she whispered. For what? For coming home early. For believing in me. James brushed her hair gently. Thank you for believing in us. Outside, the rain softened to a lullaby. For the first time in a long while, neither of them felt afraid of what came next. The next morning dawned quietly. Diep stood barefoot in the kitchen, brewing coffee instead of cooking seafood. Her movements were unhurried, peaceful. The scent of roasted beans replaced last night's butter and garlic. James emerged from the bedroom, hair still damp, sleeves rolled up, phone pressed to his ear. Yes, 10 o'clock. Have the documents ready, he said before hanging up. Early start? Diep asked, handing him a mug. Big day, he replied, taking a grateful sip. We're meeting the property agent for the Riverside office. She smiled. Yesterday we talked about it. Today we're doing it. That's how dreams work, James said. Once you say them out loud, the universe moves things for you. Hours later, they arrived at the Riverside district. The city buzzed with morning energy, cafes opening, the river shimmering in the light. The property agent, a cheerful man in his 40s, greeted them warmly and led them through a marble-floored lobby to the 5th floor. When he opened the door, sunlight poured in through large windows overlooking the river. The space was blank, full of promise. It's beautiful, Diep whispered. James's eyes swept across the room. Desks there, meeting space here, your design desk by the window, and a coffee station right next to it, Diep added. I want people to feel inspired when they walk in, the agent smiled. This place will be something special. They signed the temporary lease, stepping back into the sunlight with a quiet thrill. James squeezed her hand. This is it, Diep. Our start. She nodded, eyes shining. I'll decorate it myself, simple but elegant. Something that feels like us. Just promise me no gold wallpaper. She laughed, playfully nudging his arm. You'll see. You'll love it. As they strolled along the river, a seafood vendor called out, fresh crab and lobster. Just arrived. Diep exchanged a look with James. Company lunch? She asked. Why not? He said. Yesterday was company dinner. Back home, the air once again filled with the scent of butter and sea. All right, boss, Diep said, tying her hair up. You're my assistant today, James saluted. Yes, ma'am. What's my first task? Crack the crab shells. This is not in my CEO job description, he protested, laughing. They fell into rhythm again, shells cracking, butter hissing, laughter echoing. Diep glanced at him softly. You know, I used to be scared of dreaming too big. But with you, it doesn't feel scary anymore. That's because, James said, meeting her gaze, you're not dreaming alone. After lunch, they sat on the porch, plates empty, the afternoon sun casting gold across the fields. James exhaled deeply. When I lost my job last year, I thought it was over. I felt useless. But now, sitting here, I realize every failure led me to this. Diep watched the wind ripple through the trees. Sometimes we have to be broken before we know how strong we can be. He smiled softly. You're my strength, Diep. They sat in companionable silence, watching sunlight dance through the leaves. Then Diep spoke, her tone light again. When we open the office, I'm putting a rule on the wall. Oh yeah? What rule? No meetings before coffee. James laughed. Fair. Then mine will be no skipping lunch. Deal, she said, hooking her pinky with his. That evening, their living room transformed into a creative studio. Papers spread across the floor, laptops open, design sketches scattered everywhere. Amid the clutter, there was energy, a sense of momentum. Hey, James said suddenly, what if the D&J in our logo formed a wave? It fits with the Riverside office, movement, flow. Diep's eyes brightened. That's brilliant. She began sketching. See? You've got a designer's mind. Maybe you're rubbing off on me, he said with a grin. Hours slipped away. The crickets started their nightly song. The faint murmur of the river seeped through the window. I think that's enough for today, Diep said, stretching. James nodded, closing his laptop. Tomorrow's the real beginning, she smiled. Then let's make it count. He pulled her close. We already are. Later, lying in bed, the moonlight painted silver patterns on the wall. You know what I'll remember most about today? Diep whispered. What? The smell of butter and crab. And the sound of you laughing, James chuckled softly. Then I guess I'll have to keep making you laugh. Promise, promise. As sleep overtook them, their breathing fell into sync. Outside, the night hummed softly, the sound of rain, the rhythm of renewal. Their company was small, their future uncertain, but in that quiet space between dreams and dawn, they already had everything that mattered. Love, courage, and the taste of Alaskan lobster and king crab, the flavor of beginnings.